Hey everybody, so what do you do now? We're here at Camp Horizon. I'm here with an old friend that I'd made a few years ago, Jeb, and his beautiful daughter, Emily. Thank you guys both for being a part of this. I know it's a little bizarre sitting in an empty cabin with some microphones talking about things.
Just a little.
It is, but it's our pleasure to be here.
So what I wanted to talk to you guys about, obviously, Jeb, we met because we shared a cabin together a couple of years ago at Camp Horizon. It's a camp for children with Down syndrome to sleep away, spend some time just being a kid. And you've recruited your daughter to come along?
Well, actually, 5 years ago, Emily heard about it and said, let's sign up to be counselors for this camp. And I said, all right. So I went online and signed up, and she couldn't do it. So I did it, and I've been here 5 years, and she's finally made it.
Well, I'm glad you made it. Did you have a good time?
I did. It's awesome.
What's your takeaway? What's the thing that you go back and tell your friends?
Just to come and experience it. It's a whole different world with the kids age for me, but it's awesome. It's a lot of fun, a lot of activities. The kids are awesome. And
is it emotional?
yes, the girls are. I'm used to working with adults, so the girls, it's just drama and tears, and he hurt my feelings.
Well, there's a lot of that at the dance tonight.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Just 10 minutes ago, we had a girl crying for the nurse because her heart was broken, and she wanted medicine, so.
Drama.
That's what we deal with.
So you mentioned that she got you into this, and you talked about you mostly deal with men. So I want to come back to that and talk about what you do for a living. And also, 5 years ago when you first brought it up to Jeb, hey, we should do this, and then you bailed out until this year. Is there someone in your family with Down syndrome? How did the connection come about?
I have a cousin named Anne with Down syndrome, and she really got me interested in it when I was younger. We were just always two peas in a pod growing up. And so I got into it in high school. I would work with the class of special needs kids. For my first and second period, I would go and help them instead of having another class. And that really got me into it. I've just always wanted to do it ever since growing up with my cousin.
So you got Jeb here, and he was great. And I'll say you were great for me when I first got into the cabin, and you kind of sort of dialed me into what we're supposed to do. It was nice to have a shepherd along the way to kind of help steer it in the right direction.
Well, I steer them in the best way. Pick the fat mattress, get the lower bunk, get the one with the closet next to it,
Yeah.
Tips like that hopefully they'll help Emily with this year. And
So, Emily, you mentioned your job. Mm-hmm. What do you do for a living?
I work at a group home. It's the company UMAR. It's in Charlotte. It has different group homes for all men and women of the whole spectrum of special needs. We have 2 homes side by side, 6 guys in each home. They range from our youngest is 30 and our oldest is 63.
Oh, wow.
So they range in all ages, but they've been there since 2001. So they're family. And we have live-in staff, 2 per home, and they switch every week. So they work 2 weeks a month, and then each guy has a staff that comes in for a certain amount of hours of day.
Mm-hmm.
So I go in 6 hours, and I work with a man who has Down syndrome named Kevin. He's 39. Awesome guy.
yes, he is.
The coolest guy I think I've ever met. Funny, goofy, caring, loving, awesome. Going into that and having such a good person that I've clicked with, that was awesome. So it made me even want to be in the field even more because I just have such an awesome guy I get to hang out with.
So what's the day like?
The days I work early, we'll go to the pool, make lunch, do his laundry, shave, chores. And then on a fun day, we'll go to the movies, dinner, something like that. We can really do whatever we want. They always treat us to a sports events. So we went to a baseball game last week, things like that.
Oh, that's cool. Go to see the Knights.
Yeah, we go to the Knights game.
Camp too.
Yes, we go to camp. It's called Camp Jim.
Who's Jim?
A man named Jim. I'm not sure of his last name, but he started it.
Okay.
And so they just call it after him. He passed away, so then they kept it going.
Is it a once a year thing, or is it something that rotates through?
Once a year, 5 days, 4 nights, sleep away. Same thing as this.
Very similar.
So it's a lot like this, but instead of being for 10 to 17-year-olds, it's more for...
It's all adults.
So like after you go to Camp Horizon and you age out, you could go to Camp Jim?
You could. Mm-hmm.
Do you have to be with UMAR or?
No, you don't have to be with UMAR, but the only thing is it's a little less strict. We know you'll stay on the ground, so.
Well, they're adults,
right. I guess it depends on the parents if they trust their kids.
Right.
Because it's a lot less organized. You can kind of just go off, do what you want. Everyone's fine. It's very small, though, is the difference. So the areas are very small. So it's not as scary as this one. This camp is pretty big.
You saying this camp is scary?
Scary.
Well, I mean, just the kids.
What was scary?
Not scary, but it's just so big that if we did let kids wander, who knows
Sure.
where they would be.
Sure.
Kind of
Well, we had that a couple times today. But we found them pretty quick.
We got a runner.
And I'm sure there's other places like it in the country. It's not the only one.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot. Even in Charlotte, there's a lot of group home environments. We know one guy through volunteering since 2009.
Mm-hmm.
And he used to tell me he was in a group home. And I always thought, a group home? That's crazy. Why would his mom put him there? And then now working with him in his group home, it's an amazing thing. It's really, really cool what the company does for them. You know, they never go hungry. We cater to them. Anything they need, we're there. They're treated very, very, very well.
My buddy David.
So who's David?
I volunteer in Matthews, North Carolina at a help center, food pantry and thrift store, and he volunteers on Tuesdays with me. He has Down syndrome. He's 48, cool little guy. He's probably 4 feet 8 inches tall, and he's my best friend.
And is he in the same place?
Yes. We knew him before she got the job there.
Oh, so you knew David.
Yes.
And it just, the coincidence just happened that Emily's working with him.
She would come to volunteer with me, and my co-volunteer, said, hey, I've heard a job opening at this group home. Emily and her and I drove up there after work, and they basically hired her on the spot because they liked her so much. So she's been there ever since. Chip off the old block.
Yeah.
What do you know, man?
You know, when I explain to people, the folks that I met at camp, and I explain how it's all good souls. It really is. It's a good group of people.
Well, I've realized that volunteers are generally good people.
I've never really thought about this. I mean, when Charlie's 30 years old, can he go be somewhere? How do you get in a group home?
It's not easy.
No.
Okay.
She's in a home that just had an opening come up, and it was the first one since 2001, and it's 2018 right now.
So 17 years.
Yeah.
No one new has come in.
No.
So once they get in there, they're pretty stable.
So is that just the only home, or is there, so they build a home, that home fills up, and they build another home?
There's 2 men's homes right next to each other. There's ladies' homes.
And they're all over Charlotte. Ours is just, 1, 2 of, we probably have 30 within North Carolina, girls and men. But they also have it on the different spectrums. So ours they're very independent. But then we have one in Gastonia where it's 24-hour care for the ones that need that 24 hours. They're not as independent. And then they have homes that say the person is in a wheelchair, the lifting, they have homes for that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's with a lot of companies. There's a lot of companies in North Carolina and Charlotte. There's different spectrums if, your child is not as independent or if they are. And then there's also a thing where parents will buy a home and then they'll work with a company like UMAR to put staff in that home. So it's your home, your child, and, 1 roommate, 2 roommates. And then you go and with that company, they staff it. So we've seen that also.
Okay.
They do group activities together. The homes, the girls and the guys, the ladies and the men
They're
will
all
come
dating.
together, and
They're all dating?
a lot of them date. And these ladies will chauffeur them, a couple of the men, to the woman's home, and they'll have dates. So it's a real life experience.
It is. And we have, the man's cave as in our homes, and it's a glass sliding door so they can shut it. We can see in it, but they can shut it and hang out on their dates. They've all been dating for 10 plus years. So it's actual relationships.
Wow.
And that's, it's not they don't break up every day for someone else.
A group home doesn't necessarily mean you don't experience life.
Right.
Right?
They're all very, very happy.
It's
And
a treat, isn't it?
They get rid of staff immediately if anything's wrong. They're very on it. They get the full experience of life. Last week, the guy said, I want to fish. We went out that day, and he picked out a fish and a fish bowl. And 2 guys have fish now. I worked at the group home in Concord. They feed the stray cat, so they keep him as a pet. They really do get the full experience.
Oh, that's awesome. I haven't.
You haven't had to yet.
Right.
You have a kid.
It is something, though, I would suggest people look into when their kid's young, just because there's so many waiting lists.
How do you, is this just the Google, or how do you figure it out?
I mean, you just get in contact with the company, and then UMAR's main office, I know, is in Charlotte.
Okay.
All of them have main offices around. You can walk in, I know at least for our company, and the president's sitting right there. And she comes out, hi, how are you? So it's very
but not
easy
at
access.
not at the home. She's at an
No,
office.
she's in the office, but
so you
that's
go
in
to the
Charlotte.
office and you say, "Hey, I'm looking to do I'm trying to figure out this group home thing for the
Yes.
future." Well, that's very cool.
Speaking of the future, have you talked to anybody about the ABLE Act? This is a law that was passed that you can, when you would have to basically leave your child destitute to get help after you're gone. But now with the ABLE Act, you can open a savings account for your son, tax-free, just like any other kid, and save college tuition or whatever you would put in that. And it's a wonderful thing. You should look into that.
If you have more than $2,500
Yes.
or somewhere, if you have more than that, he loses all of his.
Not anymore.
So the ABLE Act.
Is to prevent that.
Oh, okay.
I have a brother that worked on that for 8 years and was at Obama's desk when he signed the bill, and he's on the national board, and he would be happy to talk to you about that sometime.
That would be awesome. That's exactly what I enjoy about this. As I start talking, it just webs out into other things.
Exactly.
Oh,
And
that
you
would be
could
great.
start saving for your son now, and man, in 20 years from now, it would just grow and grow. And his name is Jeb Gerhardt. I'll give you his
Absolutely.
contact information.
Where is he? Where's he located?
Cincinnati.
Okay.
He was president of the National Down Syndrome Society board. He's very active. He's a lobbyist, a lawyer, and he's done wonderful things for this community.
And his daughter has Down syndrome.
That's Ann we're talking about. It was amazing watching him. Jiminy Christmas. From having her to now, and how much he's done, it's crazy.
How old is she now?
21.
Yeah.
This Saturday.
Holy
she'll
cow.
be 21.
We have to call her tomorrow and sing her happy birthday.
How's she doing? What's she up to?
She's phenomenal.
She works at a pet store at Finley Market in Cincinnati, and I think she works at Kroger Grocery as a beggar. She has a boyfriend.
She does, long term. She called me the other day and asked if I would still be her maid of honor when the day comes. We made that deal when we were 12.
They're best buds.
Yeah.
So I said, well, as long as you're mine. And she said, of course. So we still have that deal going on.
And you've seen girls here, how sassy they are. She's still sassy at 21. She's a cute girl.
She is.
We love
She's
her.
awesome.
My mom was a special ed teacher, and Ann and Emily's in this. I'm here. It's just, I don't know what happened.
So with your mom as a special ed teacher from when you were a kid, how did that,
Oh, boy.
are we going to be here all night now?
No. I went to grade school, and I went to middle school like everybody else, and there's Mom, a special ed teacher in my middle school. And that's hard on a 12-year-old boy when their mommy's in the hall. Hey, Jebby, how you doing?
And she'd pick out the bread from the dumpster.
Oh, good Lord. We didn't want to talk about that.
No, that's great. That's gold. Bread from the dumpster.
There's a Kroger grocery store behind the playground where I'm out there with all my friends, and Mom's getting day-old bread for the homeless people out of the dumpster.
Which is
literally
so sweet.
Right
But
across the street from my playground. Head down. That's not my mom. I don't know her. It was social suicide, basically.
but it's so nice of her.
So
How many times have you heard the bread in the dumpster out the plate? Yeah.
Mom's tired of hearing it, I think, but that's okay.
How's she doing?
She's fine. She's okay. She's doing well. 85 now, so
Yeah, my mom hit 82 this week.
it's hard to watch, but
Yeah. Stubborn.
yeah. She's coming down next month, and we're going to go to the beach for a few days and hang out.
That'll be fun.
Yeah. Good old Boppy.
Boppy.
That's her grandma name.
She won't let us call her Nana.
Grandma doesn't get to pick her name.
She's the one person on this planet that said, I will not be Nana.
Well, all right. Well,
And they made up a name, and she said, I'll take it.
Boppy. Boppy it is.
Her license plate says Boppy.
How she spells it, she got exactly what it was? Or she didn't-
Boppy.
She didn't have to make the O a zero
She
or
didn't want to. No. It's all letters, as far as I can tell. I don't know. I can't tell on a Wi-Fi password if it's an O or a zero. So it could be an O. Or
It was a no.
okay.
Jeb, Emily, thank you guys for taking the time. Emily, thank you for everything you're doing.
Thank
and
you.
I appreciate everything you do. You
course.
explained about the group homes. Jeb, again, thank you for everything you've done. You're a dear friend. I see you once, twice a year, but we never
Yes,
skip a beat.
Right.
We pick up beating up on each other immediately.
Right.
So
It's like you're a high school buddy.
yeah, exactly.
Never left. It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Absolutely. That's it, folks. So what do you do now? Thanks for tuning in. Details will be on the website. Thanks again for listening.